Michelle Towsley, and this is my 2019 Redken Audition video. Why do I want to be a part of the Redken tribe? I have grown up with the motto, if you're green, you're growing, and if you're ripe, you're rotten. Since I was little, I've always had a passion for learning, but not only for learning, but for educating others. I feel that Redken is pretty much on the same page as I am, or I'm on the same page as Redken is, I suppose, because they're a little bit older than I am. So, meaning they're always coming up with something better. They're improving all of their tools. Every year something's different, something's better, and they're always growing. They're never ripe. They're never rotten. They are definitely the hair authority, which why wouldn't anybody want to be a part of that? So my professional edge, polished imperfection is the best way that I can explain that. So we are not always perfect. My face isn't symmetrical. I'm not the skinniest thing in the world. My hair's not perfect. But if we can make ourselves look polished and make everything that we do look like it was meant to be that way, or that there was effort put into it, I think that that's the way everyone should live their life. I try to put that with my clients. People, come in and say, I want super thick hair, this and that, and they have really thin hair. Well, yes, we can add extensions, absolutely, cha-ching. But love your skin, love the person that you are. Just make it look like it's purposeful. I have been a hairstylist for 17 years, and in that time, I started out at Zenon International School, where I pretty much was taught the Redken way. The mantras, everything about it was Redken. And so that's where my love of Redken began. Truly began, my grandmother used Redken and it was in their shower. So that's just what I grew up on. And then when I went to cosmetology school and realized there was a whole Redken world that I didn't even know about, boy, am I glad to be a part of it. So after school, I decided to go into the corporate world where I worked for beauty brands. I started out in Colorado, and then I transferred to Texas with the corporate, which is along a summit salon basis. I became an educator for beauty brands through Redken, which allowed me to go to symposiums and racks in Orlando. I also had to really be aware of Redken product sales and numbers, basically learning how to keep Redken, the hair authority, and keep it flying off the shelves. After I left beauty brands after several years where I kind of felt like I had reached the top, I decided to go to booth rent. I was a Redken salon, still used everything Redken, but I learned a lot of trials and tribulations through booth renting. Then I went to a summit salon in Frisco, Texas, Swish Salon, which has been amazing. So I actually have all three of the, I can preach to all three types of hairstylists. Corporate, I can preach to those booth renters. I can also preach to those in Summit Salon. I know how they all work. I know, what they're thinking about things. For instance, corporate usually doesn't make commission off of product sales. Booth rent and Summit Salon, you want to have those product sales. So I know a lot about the different types of situations. So I think I'd be great. Goal to be part of the Redken Artist team. I love color. I love teaching color. I love teaching the principles of color because I truly believe that the principles is where it all begins. We have to crawl before we can walk, or even before we can run. So I love the color wheel. I love the basic principles of color. But what I truly love and I am most passionate for is finishing. There is nothing more rewarding to me than when you finish somebody and they have that extra pep in their step. They have a smile on their face. They feel and they look beautiful. That's where my heart skips a beat. That's where my true passion is coming from. So with my time at corporate, at beauty brands, I, again, got to go to symposiums and rack, and I was also an educator. So I was preaching Redken to all of the classes. I was interacting with the Redken world and the Redken artist and rubbing elbows, and I want to make it official. It's like a dream. I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, but I want the name tag. I definitely want the name tag. I want to be part of the tribe. I want to be part of the hair authority. This is Allison. Allison had a permanent color of 3BR on her hair in cosmetology school. So we're trying to get rid of some of that. She's essentially a color correction. We have definitely discussed that she's not going to be a blondie today, but we're going to try and get some of the warmth out and also make her lighter. We definitely don't want any highlights up on the top, so we're going to have this section parted off into a diamond section so when we can tease and balayage the top, so she has a nice grow out so she doesn't have to get her hair done all the time. Since it is a color correction, budget-wise and time-wise, it all can't really happen in one day unless, of course, she wants to pay for it, yes. But to keep the integrity of the hair, it's better to do it in small steps. I prepped Allison with our pre-art treatment for 10 minutes and shampooed with our Clean Maniac Micellar shampoo. We then did an extreme chem shot with a 3.5 fixed phase, also so we have a nice palette to work with. So we've decided that in order to get Allison a little bit lighter, we are going to do a foilage technique. We're going to do the whole head. That way she's got more of an overall. Sometimes we can just do a partial, but she is so warm down here that I would rather go ahead and do a full foilage on her so we can start getting into that lighter, ready for spring, ready for summer look. In these back sections, I'm going to use a micro stitch. I'm going to use a diagonal balayage in foil, and I'm also going to use a traditional balayage in all three foils. This will give it a very blended look. With gloves on, we decided to use Flash Lift. 3 level scoops with 30 volume peroxide mixed with a 1:2 ratio. After mixing properly with a whisk, we added 8 milliliters of pH bonder. This will help keep the disulfide bonds from breaking and help us push the limits to get past that warmth that she's looking for. So we're going to start with our micro stitch, also known as a baby light. A lot of people think that it's really close to a slice, and it is not, because you're taking the finest of hairs, and what this does is it's going to lighten it, but it's almost going to give it a more of a blended look, because those tiny little sections that you're taking with all of this, the contrast is going to be very small, so it's going to overall lighten everything with just using a small amount of hair. Head down, please. I'm going to take it and I'm actually going to feather it so that we have no harsh lines. When we don't have any huge line of demarcation or harsh lines, the grow out is actually a lot nicer. So somebody who may not have it in their beauty budget to get their hair done every 6 weeks can have a very blended look where they can go 3 months or 12 weeks in between visits. Okay, so as we get to the front, Miss Allison has naturally wavy hair, which I knew, but she's a big fan of the flat iron. So as we get up into this hairline, where we are a little bit more fragile, we do notice that she has a lot more breakage. So we're gonna be very careful how we foil this, because we have a lot of thickness up here. The pool is very deep, and then down here we only have a very shallow pool. So we don't want to have a whole lot of highlights up here and then not any down here. So we are going to take very, very fine micro stitches all the way up to the ear on a diagonal back parting. All right, now that we have Allison, we've rinsed her out. We have done her pH bonder and let it sit for 10 minutes, and we did an extreme chem shop just to make everything a nice even canvas for us to tone with. Now, when we're toning, it's really important to look at the different colors that you have in the hair. Now, we discussed earlier that Allison does not like any warmth in her hair. She did have some red in there, so obviously those undertones are coming through. Also, she is at a level 7, which the undertone at 7 is orange. So she does have a level 7 in there. She has a little bit of an 8 in there. And in the very, very front where she has virgin hair, it is a level 9, pale yellow. So I'm actually gonna section these pieces out so we can keep those nice and light for her. Have that really pretty money piece. And then we're gonna do a small stretch root with 0.6N Shades EQ. I did 1 ounce 0.6N with 1 ounce of processing solution. Going to paint that on her zone 1 into zone 2. And then I have 7VB, 0.7VB and 0.8VB to kind of cut out those orange and yellow tones. Our blue is really going to focus more on that orange, and the violet will focus on the yellow. So hopefully she'll have a really nice neutral blonde. We're not going to be platinum blonde at this point, but most definitely a lot lighter and a lot cooler than she was before. Per Redken, Shades EQ gloss is to be used on dry hair and processed for 20 minutes at room temperature. I decided to do a wet gloss so that we would have no line of demarcation and be able to comb from top to bottom with smooth transition. After doing pH bonder and her chem shot, her porosity should be even all over. All right, Allison's been toned and shampooed. We shampooed her with our new Blondage Purple shampoo, which is also very pigmented, and it also has some healing properties in it to it as well. It's one of the first shampoos that's like that on the market, so big bonus for Redken right there. And then we conditioned with the All Soft conditioner. We are going to prep her hair with a little bit of our blow dry pillow proof. Make sure to shake it up really good. Allison doesn't like, she has wavy hair, so she doesn't shampoo her hair but maybe once or twice a week. So we're gonna really make sure that this blowout lasts her a while. So our pillow proof is an amazing tool for that. Next, we're gonna use a quarter size of Align 12. Since she has curly hair, this will help smooth and straighten the hair as well. Just work it in there. And then for a little bit of added shine and to help the blow dry go a little bit faster, I'm going to use 1 pump of our diamond oil. Blow dry. Really getting on those ends. All right, so we're going to do a directional blow dry, add a little bit of volume in here, and get her as straight as we can. So we're going to see how. Aftercare is the most important part about getting your hair done. I sent Allison home with our 3-step pH bonder system and our Color Extend Blondage shampoo and conditioner, and rebooked her appointment for 4 weeks. I had so much fun making this video. Can't wait to see you guys at the 2019 Redken induction. Just remember, when you're green, you're growing, and when you're ripe, you're rotten. Ciao, Bella.